The price we pay here is completely different to the price they pay back home. They go with their lives, we go with time and money, and that's what's different. But I also want them to know that their lives that are lost are not in vain, that we think of them. And the light will always shine, I think. The good will win, it has to. With Mahsa Amini's death, something just got switched on and I can't describe it. But yeah, the shame, the sadness, the anger turned into activism for me. Most Iranians now protest every weekend and some weekdays. We don't know if this will slow down or will be a long marathon. As we see, this government's really doing its best to do anything to stay in power. But there are too many voices now. We can't go back. It's done.
بچه بگین که پاتو رو میفروشین که بخرن. شما فقط واسه فاندینگ دست بزن ببین صفره.
Okay, thank you so much everyone for coming. I just want to say a major thank you to 11 Cafe for actually allowing us to host us here. Thank you Babak and Faha. Major thank you.
We created this space, for Mahsa, to create a safe space for all of you who go to protesting and to brainstorm, to talk to one another, to journalists, and give your ideas and talk about what's been going well and what's not going well, and what can we do for Iran living in London.
We tried to navigate the protests using the momentum of whatever is happening in Iran, be the voice of Iranians, raising awareness outside of Iran, making sure that the public outside of Iran, non-Iranians specifically, are concerned about Iran, and the Iranian issue is on the top of their mind always.
Up until 3 months ago, probably most people didn't even know where Iran existed on the map. So now is a good time. Obviously, I know a lot of you are activists. When you do see non-Iranians, it's really good to talk about the geopolitical aspect of Iran. As an Iranian community, we've never had a community like this. Sometimes Iranians used to just run away from each other, as you all know. So it's really good to have each other's backs.
I think obviously it started with a woman. It's been fired and fueled by women. It's been led by women. But it's not, I don't feel that it's just a women's rights issue. It's a human rights issue. And it's about oppression, control, autonomy, freedom. Because it's not just a woman fighting. In fact, more men are on the execution list than there are women. It's men also standing up for women, but also for themselves. They're standing up for the community. Mahsa Amini could have been and has been many of us in the past. This is probably one of my earliest pictures. As soon as I could walk, I was dancing. But of course you can't do that in public. When you're 9, it's illegal. And this one is with my family. It was my ninth birthday here. Then I was legally obliged to wear the scarf, the hijab outside. The so-called morality police was stationed to tell us what we had to wear. The fear, I had seen my brother and my auntie being caught together on the street, being questioned what their relations was. They would then take girls and women away for wearing their hijab incorrectly, and they question them, educate them, and ask them to write a confession that they will, if they do this again, they will be prosecuted They asked them to pay a fine, telling them that they don't have a family, they don't live a decent life, and that a lot of times they are a whore. That those are the youths that are being used. I think I was 12, 13 here. When I went to school, things were quite strict. Colours were not allowed, we were almost invisible. I was taught in school that a woman is worth half of a man, so you needed 2 female witnesses for a crime. If you got divorced, you didn't have any rights. And there was a point that I thought, I wanted to be a boy. I wanted to be just like my brothers, not be forced to wear the hijab. I had really good friends. Most of them are not even living in Iran anymore. They all moved away. And this one is, I think it was 1998. Wanting to dress like Britney Spears, we started having illegal satellite dishes on our roofs, which allowed us to watch foreign TV. Everything was just from the channels reported internally. And this was at home. It would be where brothers or dad were not there. The government wasn't even allowing mixed birthdays, mixed weddings, anything that was mixed. So it was almost living a completely different life inside than outside. So I actually smuggled this into Iran in my trousers through the airport. Must have been sweating. Backstreet Boys, loved it. And I smuggled it out of Iran when I left. It makes me emotional because in that video, she was in a mixed school and we were so segregated with our brothers and cousins, and it felt like a different world that we're not a part of. That was back then in the late 90s and early 2000s, but it's still the same. Nothing really has changed. Even the slightest criticism is not allowed. I left in the early 2000s. My dad wanted me to study outside of Iran so that I could have a different life. I was excited. I was gonna see Britney Spears, go to all her concerts, but I didn't realize that came with a different cost. Leaving family and friends behind. I think that's why this time I'm so active, because I don't think anybody wants to go. I fear that if this movement doesn't succeed, this government will execute many more, will imprison, torture, rape more people, and things will get a lot worse for Iranians. They'll try and control people more. They were already talking about filtering the internet so that no one would have access to information from outside of Iran anyway. It's freedom that's at stake.